Okay, hello everybody. This is the video that I've promised to a couple of people. I had a request off MakerWorld and off Patreon about how to add your own name and number to the football shirt lightbox that I designed. This is going to be using just MakerWorld, sort of MakerLab, Bamboo Studio, whatever you want to call it, just their tools, no CAD experience needed. Really simple process, really easy to do. It works well. And what I'm going to show you with the footy shirt blank template file that when this video goes out will be uploaded to MakerWorld and will be uploaded to my Patreon. I probably will upload this video to YouTube as well in case anybody finds it useful, because this sort of method can be used for other applications too. So if you're on YouTube, I'll link the MakerWorld file in the comments somewhere. Also my Patreon as well if you want to check that out. So what we're going to be doing, first of all, we're going to start with the template footy shirt file that I've designed. That comes with a back box where you put the LEDs with a little hole for the wires to run out of. It comes with a battery box that you can stick to the back of this, so if you're using battery powered LEDs, you've got a little housing for the battery box. It comes with a striped version of the shirt, and it comes with a solid colour version of the shirt. Okay, now these stripes obviously can be changed to any colour. On default they're set to black and white because I'm a Newcastle fan and that's the first one that I designed, but you can change them to be anything that you want. Okay, and again, same with the full colour one. Obviously you can change it to be anything you want. I've got yellow set in here, but you know, any team that you want. Generally, I mean, blue, red, some sort of stripes generally. Most of the football teams, once you think about it. But we've got this anyway, so we've got the block colour shirt and the striped shirt. All we need to do now is add a name and number to it. To do that, like I said, we're just going to be using the MakerLab tools. So if you go to MakerLab or MakerWorld, and you go down to Make My Sign, this is the tool that we're going to be using. We're going to create a new project in here. We're going to get rid of this template dialog that comes up, and the base plate, the default base plate, we don't need that, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, all we're going to do in here is add 2 text boxes. That's all we need for this. Okay, first text box is going to be the name. Okay, so we're going to double click in there. I'm going to replace this. I'm going to choose a name, Thomas. Okay, no particular reason, but name we're going to go with. And then for this, what I like to do is just select this button that gives it a bit of a curve, because most football teams have a bit of a curve to the name. If you're using a really short name, you might not want to do this. You know, if the name's only got or whatever, completely up to you. But I like to add a curve, and you can use this little icon down here to sort of make it a little bit flat. It's got too much of a curve for my liking settings. So we'll put it about there. It's good to me. And then the next thing we need to do is choose our font. So this is the kind of one of the limitations of doing it this way. If I was doing this in Fusion 360, I could get the club's official font into there and then use that. But in here, you're restricted to the fonts that are available. But what I find is, you know, you can at least there's a selection here, so you can change it up so they're not all the same. You can look at the club font and try get the one that's the closest to it. I think this one works quite well. This sort of Wigner's friend, however you pronounce that. I think that works quite well for football shirts. Okay, and that's it. That's all we need to do for the name. Okay, next we're going to add another text box. Click in here, delete this, and this is our number. So Thomas is 9. Okay, and then all we need to do for this one is make sure that's the same font as the name. Okay, so that it looks right. Just reduce this down. And then we're going to scale it up, but don't worry too much about the scaling, okay? Because we can adjust all the scaling in the slicer. So it's not the end of the world if you get the scaling wrong here, but I prefer to try and make an effort to get it to look right here, because you can use this tool to line it up. So you can see lining it up there, it's telling me that it's centered and it's in line with the bottom of the letters. Generally, if you get the scaling right here and get it lined up, you don't have to touch it too much in the slicer, which is great. And that's all we've got to do. So we've got Thomas, number 9. That's it. Now we're going to select download. and then we're going to download as a 3MF file. Okay, and that will take it to our download folder, whatever you've got that defaulted to. That's it. That's all we've got to do. Now we're going to move back to the template file. Okay, we're going to add a build plate to it, and then once we've got that fresh build plate, we are going to import the 3MF file that we have just created. Downloads folder, select that my sign draft number 16. This one was. We're going to import geometry. There we go. We've got little Thomas 9. Okay. First thing I'm going to do here is just to make it easier to work with. I'm going to scale it up. Just going to drag it out, scaling. Okay. Next thing we need to do, because we're printing these shirts face down, we need to flip this. Okay, so we're going to rotate it on the y-axis by 180 degrees. So it's face down now. And we're going to take it and we're going to slide it over to the shirt that will work. So on this one, the solid colour shirt. And then what we can do here that really helps generally, again, it depends what your name is, depends what your number is. Sometimes it works, sometimes you have to sort of play about with the placement a little bit. But if you take the shirt, just right click and center it. Okay, and then take the name and number, right click and center it. It will put it at least in the center line down the middle. You can see obviously here we need to move it up a bit, which is fine. I'll move that up a little bit, and then we just play around with the scale until you get something that you like. This is not, there isn't a one size fits all for this. You're just gonna have to play around with it until you get the sort of scale and placement that you want that to be bigger, down a little bit, yeah, and then we're gonna look at it from underneath. I think that's looking good already. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm happy with that placement, I'm happy with that scale. Now the important bits are, first we need to select the name and number. We need to go back into scale and make sure that uniform scale is unchecked. Okay, now on the Z axis, go in here and I'm going to select 0.8 millimeters. Okay, that makes it the same depth as the rest of the shirt. That's what I designed them to, 0.8 millimeters, so that the light will still pass through them. So now everything's the same depth. If we were to slice this, and we will, if we were to slice this, it's going to tell us that we've got collisions. Yeah, it's going to tell us that we've got conflicts of G-code path, and because what it's trying to do for filament is trying to print the white of the name and number in the same place as the red, and that's not going to work. What we need to do, what we need to do is make them the same thing so they're not fighting each other. So as a default, you'll have an assembly on this plate. You'll have an assembly that's the shirt. Okay, so it's got its different components to it, and then you've got the sign that you imported, and each of these will be made up of a number of objects depending on how many letters and numbers you've got. First of all, we're going to right click on the shirt, we're going to go to split to objects, then we're going to go on my sign draft and split two objects. Okay, so now everything is independent of itself. Again, if we were to slice it now, it wouldn't work. They'd all be fighting with each other, there'd be conflicts. Okay, so what we need to do is make it all one object. So we're going to select all of the objects on this plate, right click and merge. Now they are the same object. Okay, now if we slice it, see the white is fine now. So it's going to print out a nice name, nice clear name to our shirt, like when it's finished. Yeah, so that's it. That's all we've got to do. You could print that now, it will work, it will come out with the settings that are already on the file, this new Lightbox version 2 settings, that will come out really clean and there'll be no problems. So if you want to just go from there, that's fine. There's a couple of things that I want to mention though, that can catch you out a little bit, and they have caught me out in the past, and that's why I'm going to go through them now. If for some reason when you merge this together and you get this new assembly, it puts the shirt components down the bottom, this, yeah, so all the text of your names and numbers are there, and then the shirt components are at the bottom, and you slice it, don't know why this happens, and I'm not going to pretend to know. It will not print the name and number. It will only print the shirt. Okay, it's not there. The name and number are not there. Don't know why that happens, but what you need to do is just make sure these are at the top. Okay, and now when we slice it, there they go. That will work. Okay, next thing to think about, what I'm going to do is split all of this to objects, and then I'm going to take names and numbers. Oops. Names and numbers, and I will take them over to the striped shirt. Now this is just something that you need to consider, and again it will depend what name and number you are using, but let's just turn all of these red so that we can see them a little easier. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing, so I'm going to split shirt that was on there, so I'm splitting all of the stripes and everything, and then I'm selecting everything, merging it. Okay, so now everything's the same, and you can see this time when I've done it, to put all of the shirt components at the bottom, I'm going to move them up. Okay, and now when we slice, see what it looks like. But this is just something to consider when you're using the striped shirt. Your placement of the letters can really affect the quality that you get, you know, the finished product, in terms of how the printer can handle these little gaps that you're creating. So there's not too good an example here now, but what I'm talking about is, see where the stripes crossing over the letters, and you're asking the printer to fill in this tiny little gap. Even with the light setting profile on, it might struggle to get some of the gaps, and I'll try and find an example here. I take these name and number, just move it over a little bit to that corner of the T. Yeah, and if say I was going to do that and slice that, this corner of the T here, I don't actually know what it's going to look like here, but it might struggle. So it's actually not too bad there, but this is what I'm talking about. Just be aware of that. You can create these tiny little gaps and really tight angles that the printer might not like. So when you're doing it, it might be worth, even if you've got your name and number centered, it might be worth having them slightly off center, just to give the printer space to work, or just to get rid of these little gaps here. So that's just something to consider. Okay, but that's it. You could slice this now and print it, and it would print out Thomas number 9. So you probably work on the placement on that one, but just to show you, that's how you do it. That means that you can sort of do any sort of team member's name that you've got of your favorite club, or any personalization requests that you might get if you're selling these through the Patreon. And that's it. So hopefully that's been helpful to you. If you've got any questions about that, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not that active on YouTube, but by all means follow the link to MakerWorld and comment on there, or go through to my Patreon as well, and you can message me on there, and I'll get back to you if you've got any messages about what I've just gone through. Alright, cheers guys.